First presentation today is on wellness in the workplace. Our presenter is Umesh Dayal from Heritage Carpets. Umesh leads the team at Heritage Carpets and is responsible for Heritage Carpets and their partnering program with high social and environmentally responsible partners. Umesh takes a personal interest and ensures he visits suppliers and raw material factories to verify their authenticity. And takes the topic of wellness very seriously in terms of their part that they play in the interior space. Umesh, welcome. Nice to have you with us.
Thanks, Matt.
Looking forward to your presentation today. Over to you.
Thank you. And thanks for joining us, like Matt said, from wherever you are in the country. We've really been excited about working with EBOS, and things have really developed nicely. So this is our first video session with EBOS. So I hope you find this interesting and useful. We really wanted to discuss ideas on how carpet can actually contribute to wellness in the workplace. Some of these ideas will obviously apply outside the workplace in homes and other spaces, but our focus today is in the commercial environment. Looking at today's situation or the recent events around the world, people are obviously increasingly concerned with wellness, well-being, health and safety. So while we obviously have always been committed to finding quality products and working with socially responsible partners, there is more to it. And so hopefully over the next few minutes, we can show you what we're kind of thinking in that regard. Let's find my next slide. Somewhere. So we have used the well-building framework, or the well-building certificate framework, although this is just for your reference. So we've used that as a guide, and we're discussing that with reference to 4 out of 7 points or areas that the well-building standard kind of works through. So in our little part of the industry, obviously floor coverings, we will contribute, or I guess flooring products can contribute, in our opinion, to mind, to comfort, to light and air. And if we could find or make carpet that would contribute to fitness as well, we would, but I'm still looking. I'll let you know how we go with that. So carpets, many of you will realise that carpets can reduce fine dust in the air in the workplace, but also trapping toxins by way of holding material in the floor covering really helps to improve our space. And a big function that we encourage everybody to use when specifying floorings is considering healthy entranceways. So by that we mean using carpets specifically designed to clean shoes and or capture dust particles at the entrance, so that they're not travelling from the access to the building into the workspace as much. And to give you an idea of what we're trying to trap, some of these particles are really, really small. Looking at the explanation here on the screen, I know that it's got a lot on it, but top left there we've got near the top left, we've got what looks like a human hair. So PM10 particles, about the size of or the diameter of a human hair. So these particles, they do travel into our workplaces, our homes, and so on and so forth. And they're just going to hit our respiratory system, which we don't want. Just a little touch on a couple of the products that both Modulus and Bentley have that will be quite effective in those areas. So whether they are throughout a workspace or specifically used at the entrance to the workspaces, we do have a range of products there that we'd be happy to speak to you about at a later point. And Tretford has a fantastic certificate, which is from the German Asthma and Allergy Institute. just to confirm, from a third party that these carpets do help with filtering the air. So just contributing to the health in the workspace by keeping the air clear.
Hey Umesh, Matt here. Just questions come through. Understand there's a global context for this, but our air is pretty clean here. So the question is this really a big concern in New Zealand?
Oh yeah, good call. I'll just jump back a couple of slides here. Look, we do. Everybody has fine dust or particulate matter in the air. So what we can't see, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not there. For example, diesel dust. New Zealand is, a lot of us, particularly in Auckland, we are in quite a concentrated CBD area. We have dust. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there. So PM 2.5 is about a quarter of the diameter of a PM10, which was that human hair kind of example. So it is everywhere, and yes, we do need to think about it, because we don't want to be naive, just thinking, okay, look, our air is clear, we don't have to worry about it. Once we can see smog, we'll think about it. That's it's a little bit reactive. So protecting staff, tenants, clients, health and well-being by simply making an appropriate choice in something like floor covering, I think it's too easy not to consider.
Okay, thanks for that. Back to you.
Thank you. So the next area where carpets can contribute to well-being in the workplace is light. So there's a couple of points here which you might find contradictory. In one case, we can reduce glare in environments. So in a workspace where there might be a really, really significant natural light source behind a large group of people that are working with screens constantly. Of course, they don't want that glare behind them. So an appropriate selection of carpet will help to control that glare. Cut pile carpets do absorb, across the board, this is on average, cut pile carpets will absorb a bit more reflection than loop piles. But, at the same time, we also want to create nice and light and airy work environments. So proper selection of colours and textures in the right places can actually bring more light into certain areas. So where we've got a long space, we want to carry light through, so we're reducing the amount of artificial light. Those lighter carpet colours will carry that natural light through the space a bit better. Modulus has a really handy way of showing the light reflectance values in all of their product folders and on their website. So you can actually refer to those in the folder. So the LRV is shown as basically the amount of light that product and colour will reflect back into the space. So quite easy to find, and again, really happy to, I know a lot of designers are really familiar with this, but there will be others just kind of coming to grips with LRVs. We actually have people using the LRV reference instead of the colour when they're making inquiries, so that it tells us that we could help a little bit more with the discussion around LRVs if that's considered to be helpful. Just let us know. We can run through it for you.
Hey, Umesh, another question here. Selecting light colours, is there a trade-off there in terms of the durability and, just thinking about dirt and what's your comment on that?
Yeah, we get that a lot. So yes, a lighter coloured carpet may be seen to show dirt or some people consider it to be wear, but it's probably just soiling. So very, very light carpets, yes, they'll probably show the coffee easier than a dark coloured carpet. But the truth is, most of what we do is solution dyed. So it's solution dyed nylon, very, very cleanable. So a good maintenance program will address that. But you do have to be sensible about where you're putting which colours. So the mid shades of colour or the highly speckled shades, even in the lights, are actually of value. And just an example of, well, I've got a black t-shirt, but I don't have too much dust on it at the moment. But if you do have a dark coloured sweater, you'll always see the light coloured particles on a dark sweater well before you'll see dark coloured particles on a light sweater. So hopefully that's, that example makes sense to people. So yeah, look, it's a concern, but really we want to encourage people to use those mid-ranges or the speckled tones.
No, I've definitely got that. I'm assuming Bentley and Tretford aren't in clothing, but definitely get the comparison. So yep, question answered, thank you.
Good. Some of the nylons that we use, particularly the recycled nylon, just off topic for a sec, the recycled nylon that comes out of Italy for a lot of the modulus products is used in fashion a lot and increasingly so. And I know that Gucci's just launched their first range using Econol, which is one of our favourite yarns. So there's a crossover. Hey, so in terms of comfort, I think this is one of the big ones that carpet contributes to. Carpet, natural fibres and synthetic are fantastic, in terms of insulation. Acoustic comfort is a big one. I might as well follow the slides here. So physical comfort, just by reducing shock underfoot. The carpets and carpet tiles themselves have a shock reducing property, but of course, both Modulus and Bentley and now Tretford have comfort backs, next step cushions, and products that we can add to the back of the product. So improved comfort, reduced shock is important, particularly now with a lot of sit-stand desking, and people are working on their feet a lot more, collaboration on their feet at a workstation. So underfoot comfort, definitely. There's Tretford with the Interlife, which is actually a new backing for Tretford. I should just say that when we're talking about shock, reducing shock underfoot or comfort underfoot, I'm one to stand at my desk all the time. I sit very, very infrequently. There is a fatigue element, so using a carpet or a carpet with a cushion or a comfort back definitely contributes to that fatigue reduction. So the last area that we're going to discuss in terms of wellness in the workplace is the mind. We're happier when we're in a comfortable and an attractive space. So carpets, obviously, whether we've used a custom design, we've used beautiful colours, we might be using biophilic design, bringing those organic shades and textures inside the workplace. It's going to give a calming effect to the occupier of the space, so the staff or the client. We've got a ton of products that do address aesthetic beauty, both in the organic nature as well as block colours, lovely shades, neutrals. So having that aesthetic beauty, the biophilic design is great. But another one that we've really worked on here is product transparency. So bringing products to you and your clients that are very, very traceable. They're sourced and produced with really high levels of responsibility, social standards, environmental standards, really high ethics. It's a big one for me. So people that are listening there that have worked with me and my team, they know how important that is to us. And when you're specifying, if you can know that you have sourced well and sourced responsibly, that's not just a benefit for you, but for your client as well. They can be comfortable in the selections that they've made or approved. And of course, acoustics pops up again. So Heather's going to discuss acoustics in depth in a few minutes. But of course, if we've got a lot of hard surfaces, which a lot of workplaces do, and the carpet is there to contribute to an acoustic solution, we'll obviously have a stress-reducing effect. So I'm not going to go too far into that because I know we've got a pro coming up to follow me, but carpets will definitely contribute to the acoustic performance in the space. And there's some examples there of those designs and textures, making the workplace a lot more comfortable. So thank you very much. That's my my piece for the moment. But we're really keen to hear from you with any questions, to cover what we've discussed just now, and obviously any other aspects to the products that we bring to you. Tripford, Modulus, and Bentley Mills, cover a lot of those wellness aspects for us. So hopefully they find their way into your project.
Hey, thanks, Umesh. Hey, I've just launched a poll just to get people's feedback on your presentation today, and an easy way if they'd like you to contact them afterwards if they've got any other further questions they want to discuss offline, they can indicate that on the poll. Umesh, you talked about underlay, just thinking about maintaining level thresholds with other flooring. It seems to be quite a few layers in that model. Can you just give us an idea on what the build-up would be in that thickness, just to maintain level threshold, whether that's onto tiles or vinyl or any other substrate?
So the difference in height, I know for the Modulus comfort back adds 3 millimeters.
Yep.
So it's actually not a huge jump from the standard product. Of course, various carpet products have their own heights anyway. We have products from probably 3.5, I think, at the very, very thinnest, up to about 9 mil.
Yep.
So all that data is available from us, and if anybody needs assistance with transitions, definitely we can have that conversation. So there are a lot of treatments that we can suggest to make sure that that transition is either level or acceptable. Various backends will have slightly different heights depending on the selection and what you're trying to achieve.
Okay. Hey, slightly off topic, but while I've got you, I know just been in practices recently looking at the use of carpet tiles in entranceways. So looking at other alternatives to, the traditional matting that we're seeing entrance to buildings. Just got a couple of minutes, any sort of quick advice in terms of the approach of design and using carpet tiles in that way?
Yeah, look, if it's coming straight off a wet area, i.e. an entrance that doesn't have shelter, and you're going to get some weather coming straight through the door, you would be better off with an actual entrance mat. But as soon as you're inside an entrance, yes, solution dyed nylon carpet tiles will perform and will stand up to that slight bit of weather, and very definitely be able to address soiling coming in on shoes. So a couple of the products that we showed earlier, both from Modulus and Bentley, really ideal for that environment, because they hang on to material that's coming in from outside, whether it's on the wind or the shoes. And from a technical perspective, the longer the walk-off area, the better. That's just going to protect the floor coverings, with the carpet or otherwise, that are in the actual workspace. So yes, quite happy to have carpet tiles going all the way through an entrance foyer. And of course, there's plenty of interesting designs and colours, so that the entrance doesn't have to look like a really rugged mat. You can dress it up a wee bit, and I think it's a great idea.
I was expecting you to say that, Umesh, so yep, that's all good. Hey, look, that's all for now. Appreciate the presentation. We will have a copy of this video available if people would like to pass it on to colleagues or watch it again.